It's my responsibility to welcome everyone present. Majority of the persons here I know are my co-men, batchmates. I want to give an equal welcome to everyone. So start the proceedings. I'm going to call upon Mr. Morgan to say a word of prayer. So we cannot proceed without the Lord ahead of us. Mr. Morgan.
Let us pray. You can start if you want. Let us pray. Dear Lord, I will come before you this afternoon. Lord, I thank you for life, thank you for friends, and thank you for this occasion. Lord, we travel here safely. We pray that this will be a good function. This is a function that one of your sons is coming to highlight his work. Lord, we thank you for him, thank you for his family, thank you for all the people who will enjoy this book. And we hope that this book launch and reading will be a success. All these things we ask in your holy and precious name.
Amen. Thank you very much, Mr. Morgan. To continue the proceeding, I was informed that it's time for refreshment. Treats that are here for us. And so I want to ask you kindly just to form a line and collect what is provided on the front. Ladies and gentlemen,
Horace, there's something that they should have been please go before home.
yes, please go before home. I will eat everything.
Same link. So what I was telling him to go to other outdoors. No. You go and play some music. Yeah, man. Horace, you want to camera?
Oh, yeah. This one. So I go down everything.
They share it, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Shooting colors.
Ready, All right, so brought this tea. I brought the tea. Great selection. I drink hot drink.
It's up.
The mic kept talking.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, we are going to ask Dr. Pinto to come forward and say a few words on behalf of this proceedings and an autograph copy of this will be handed over to her and also Mr. Thomas. Are you ready?
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to extend special welcome to you to Ardenne High School. The Ardenne High School is the home of stars. And we are happy to be able to offer our environment to Mr. Lynch, Horace Anthony Lynch, for the launch of this book of poems. We are proud of our past student who has done exceptionally well, and we hope that he will continue to succeed and produce many, many more books. So enjoy the launch and share in some of the reading of the poems that will be here on in this book, A Conversation with Ivory. Congratulations, Mr. Lynch.
Thank you, Dr. Pinto. At this point, I would like to make a presentation to Dr. Pinto and the Vice Principal Tomlinson. Both books, Conversation with Ivy. So, Tomlinson. I want to express my gratitude to Dr. Pinto, as well as Mr. Tomlinson for allowing us to use this space. I'm so grateful. All right, this was where everything started for me as a student in my third form, first form. You know, the memories just keep rushing back every time I come on this campus. So I thank you for being a part of my projection and my journey. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, we're reading, which is an introduction to the book, and the poet, Mr. Lynch. I've known Mr. Lynch for many, many years. Both of us are graduates of Ardenne School. We're actually home, as he said, we're all grand. And it's a pleasure for me to be here with you celebrating. And I'm sure you're feeling that way just the same, that you're here to support him on this very important occasion. We have had many conversations about writing, putting down our ideas over the years. And even though he has stepped out before me, I am still very happy for him. And we say Jamaica, I'm not bad-minded. I'm happy that my friend is succeeding. And that is, of course, an inspiration for me to probably say at another setting like this that I too have put out a collection of poems or a book. Because, and probably there might come a time that we might do collaboration. So that's in the making.
Better get it going quickly.
We have conversations with Ivy. A conversation with Ivy, an anthology of contemporary poems by Horace Lynch. Ironically, everyone marked Anthony Clark, so that will come on Anthony. It's a compelling collection of poetry that delves into the depths of memory, culture, personal history, rooted in the author's experience from Jamaica to America. This anthology paints vivid landscape of struggles, triumph, and identity. And I can remember maybe a year or so ago where I was brought onto ancestral land in St. Mary, and he showed me where Miss Ivy was buried, and he passionately expressed how much that woman meant to him, that lady. And he spoke of her strength, her determination, her confidence, and at this point in time, I vividly remember that he said that she was a lady who could take 100 coconuts, peel them, grater them, and in no time you will be looking at coconut oil produced by her hands. So she was a very creative person, and she has had a profound impact on author, Mr. Horace Lynch.
The old timers and the technology.
No, it's not so much old time on technology that's when you have your device, you don't move your device. Alright, so from nostalgic reflections on childhood and wisdom of the shapes social commentary on migration, race, and resilience. Lynch's words resonate with emotional depth, blending elements of classic literature, Caribbean influences, and modern poetic expression. A conversation with Ivy is not just a book, it's an evocative journey through time, place, and human experience. Accompanied by stunning illustrations, this anthology offers a unique artistic dialogue between poetry and visual storytelling. Whether you are drawn to lyrical narratives, historical reflection, or bold contemporary verse, this collection will captivate and inspire. I've not been able to go through the entire book, but the illustration with that, what we call country bus. Yeah, it stands out. And most of us here have had the experience of seeing these buses. Some of us have had the experience of being on them. Not just being able to look at the colorful beauty of these buses, but also to remember the songs that go with them. Because these bus drivers were able to use these horns like musical instruments when they were driving. And so you're supposed to, they were like, it was quite an experience to be on one of these buses. And so the illustration by itself speaks volume. And add that to the poem, and here we see how Arthur Lynch is really putting things together for his readers. We're all accustomed to presentation that being at events like this. And sometimes we can be somewhat upset when somebody sits and reads to us. But this is one occasion where we can beg to differ. It's the unfolding, is the genesis of a poet who I might surmise might be writing some poem that will be in his next collection. I might speculating. And because it's from the experiences that you have that you're going to write. And I'm sure that a poem will probably come from this experience. Horace Lynch is the son of Major J.U. Lynch. JDF retired on Sita Gray Brown and a former high school geography teacher at one of Jamaica's most prestigious high school. And I say Kingston College, as well as New York City Department of Education. I'm just reading what I say. Mr. Lynch was educated at All Saints College School Jonestown, Kingston 12, Ardenne High School, Kingston 10, Jamaica, Michael University College, Kingston, Jamaica, Medgar Evers College, Brooklyn, New York, Associate Biology, John Jay College of Criminal Justice, New York, New York. City that is so big and fantastic, you name it twice, New York, New York. BSc, Criminologist, Forensic Science, Herbert Lehman College and City College of New York, MSc, Science Education, Biology. All is studied, sir. You should be W, Dr. Lynch.
You call me that sometime?
Yes, because you have the studies there, you. And I can recall when he said that he was going to go into forensic science. And when he did that, he was not only thinking about solving crime in New York or in America. He was thinking about the crime situation in Jamaica. That's another book, so there are some points. The crime situation, he was very concerned and thinking that he could do his studies to come and make a difference and make a contribution. I don't know if he wanted to go further, he probably become a commissioner of police. So speculating. The author first arrived in the United States in April of 1987. So we're in April now, so it's like an anniversary. You can do the numbers. On a United States Information Agency Fellowship. This allowed him to work with cognitively challenged adult population in Northeast Philadelphia. So at Michael, he did special education, so he was trained a long time, and he worked in Jamaica within that field, helping young people need help in that area. He worked for the same population in New York City for over 12 years. His early work with the intellectual challenged population has allowed his students to be awarded the Kennedy Award. Working at one place for 12 years can be tedious, maybe sometimes boring. But I would know that there were some challenges. But despite that, he was able to work for 12 years, and he's even working now. So that's 12 plus.
Time to retire.
Probably we can say plus or multiply, but there's many more years attached to that. It's early work with the intellectual challenge population. So they have also allowed the college to award John F. Kennedy Jr. Fellowship. That's a very prestigious award, and we congratulate you on that, Author Lynch. The author has been high school science teacher, boys and girls high school, Bedford, Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, New York, for more than 21 years. Give him a round of applause. And he has always been a caring teacher. He has dedicated himself to his students. He wears many hats. He's not just a science teacher. He's a mentor, a father, an uncle, a grandfather, and coach. Yeah, I'm coming to that. He's a very dedicated coach. And sometimes we have conversations, and he said to me, "Oh, I want to play, you know." And you tell me the name, and he said, "Boy, I'm scared, you know. But it is hard." So sometimes he has some players that have skills, but quite challenging. But me, the person that he is, he's trying to mold them into gems. And so he has not given up. And he has dedicated his time, his effort. He has even come back to Jamaica to gear for them. He's also not unwilling to dip into his pocket to use his personal money to help them. Mr. Lynch has dedicated over 6,000 students in his career, including preparing middle school students for the New York City Department of Education specialized high school examination. Although the artist is a natural science teacher, his love of language, especially Jamaican dialect and literature, is never far behind. The author's affection for literature and poetry was shown while being a student at Ardenne High School. His literature teacher, Mrs. Ivy Mitchell, was the first to have kindled the fire. And when he was at Michael, he also had a close association with Mrs. Willows. I don't know how many of you remember. Yes. Horace was one of her favorite students. Remember, the bird flew over the window.
Yeah.
Yes. It's amazing how you can remember some of these things. 20 years and you still remember.
40.
About 20 ideas.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah, I know you.
No.
In fact, Shakespeare played for Romeo and Juliet, with Charles II, Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. His literature teacher, Mrs. Ivy, first ever kindle the fire. We have also Julius Caesar, Roman, countrymen, lend me your ears. Young Cassius had a mean and hungry look. Such men are dangerous. So Shakespeare is someone who's always able to capture life experiences. And he gives us comedies, romance. He also gave us tragedies, situations where people tell each others in a mean and unforgiving way. When Julius Caesar was being killed, his good friend, he said to him, "You too, Brutus." Oh my. And that resonated with life experiences. But sometimes there are some people who are very close to us. And when they do something, we say, "You too, so And so he has been able to learn a lot from Shakespeare. And this has helped to mold him to be the person that he is today. The poetry and literature of the English greats, including John Keats, Charlotte Bronte, and Geoffrey Chaucer, was not lost on the author's impressionable mind. I too, being a student of literature, can remember Chaucer writing was like a different language. You had to be deep to understand what he was saying. And that was mainly because English as we know it today is a far different thing from what it was centuries ago. And like every language it's evolving and taking shape. And sometimes some of the things that we say are not permissible in language, after a while it becomes accepted. I was looking at the word youth, and some people are saying youths today, probably nowadays that's acceptable, but I know that back then we don't put an S to it. But because, so what you find in language, the more people start to say something after a while, it becomes so popular that you just bring it over in language, because that's how language is. It's dynamic. It's never static. And that is the reason why it continues to grow and go from generation to generation. John Keats died at the early age of 26. Imagine. But he has left a legacy of this. Mr. Lynch not 26. But I'm sure he'll be doing more writing. He leave us a legacy like Bob Marley did in the music.
Thank you, sir.
The brothers and sisters again, they gave us some classical works and literature. And who can forget about Claude McKay, especially his I Shall Return poem, in which he speaks about his desire to return to Jamaica. So the author is very privileged that he can come to Jamaica, not willingly, he makes his plan and he comes because Claude McKay wished to come to Jamaica. He expressed it in that poem,
Yes.
showed his love for Jamaica, but he was unable to do so. He left here after serving in the force, police force. And there are some poems that are called council ballads that he wrote during that time. And he was one of the major players in the what we call the Ardenne Renaissance, where a lot of black writers were expressing themselves and setting trends. Derek Walcott is considered to be one of the greatest poets, not just Caribbean poets. Very smart man. Sometimes they read some of his poems, they have to dig deep to get the meaning. And I was privileged at one time to go to a reading that he did at this hotel before you go to Stony on the left hand side.
You mean that no longer is?
Yes. Crown. I went there evening, paid my dues, and listened to the master recite his poems. And the one thing I remember from what he said that America's greatest poet was a female poet by the name of Emily Dickinson. Strange enough, she was a recluse because she hardly left her house. But despite that, she was able to write poems that were simple yet complex, and really was able to communicate with people around her. So, Mr. Safe here. Welcome, my brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, remarks from A. Lynch author, conversation with Ivy. And I hand over to man of the moment, Horace
Thank you, Mr. Clark, MC for the evening. I know this gentleman, we go all the way back to 1900, whatever.
19, let's say 19 something.
So, if you look across the way, you see a tree. There's a tree that is killed, the person that is killed, kicking balls in the tree. And he played for Ardenne, and he was one of the famous guys that scored against Kingston College at Savannah Park. So I always tease him on that. But they scored the game for us, and we lost 2-1, but it's okay. So he has that on his record. Anyway, I want to thank Dr. Pinto, I think he left.
Yes.
Okay, so I just read quickly and then fill in a little bit here and there. So, Madam Principal, Vice Principal Tomlinson, and I want to commend Vice Principal Tomlinson, who came on board and has been so gracious. He decorated this room. Made this lovely centerpiece. The gentleman is just amazing. So, I understand that Vice Principal James was was not feeling well, and I had to leave. Mrs. Robinson, which is Makisha Robinson, a good friend of mine. We served together on the Art and Sports Committee for over 18 months, and she does have an amazing lady. And she was the one that catered along with her colleague, Miss McLaren. Yes. Thank you both. So much meal. Of course, I want to express my heartfelt thank you to the leadership of Ardenne High School here, starting from me, all right, for allowing us to use the space. I kind of wrestled with using this space versus using this space that really made me, which is Michael College. I've been to many colleges in America, like 2 minutes, 3 or 4 hours, I stopped counting, but they had no wings. The connection was just getting a degree, or, you know, but for me, the Michael College was the college put a mark on my life. In fact, as you have told my wife. So I don't want to go too much into, you know, mumbo jumbo. I just want to thank all of my batchmates. I look around the room, I think 90% of the room are my batchmates. MB146. My sister, my neighbor, her husband right there. And I just want to thank you guys, you know. You're amazing. You know, support. I would be remiss if I did not say thank you to Chief Justice Sheforo, because a couple of years ago, before the it was before the pandemic, that gentleman started to think about it. Yeah. Chief Justice Sheforo, that's I gave you that name because I'm famous for giving the name. You don't want me to give this one. This one is should I give you your name, sir? Yes. No, stop this club. That's disgusting. But anyway, Mr. Orr, he conceived, along with our late great friend, rest in peace, Dennis Carter, and I think Dennis also came with the idea to bring us back together, all right, in a WhatsApp group, and it has been an amazing support for all of us as we age gracefully, and there's so many transitions for all of us, but the group gives us strength, so thank you, sir. It's typical. This is what he does. Anyway.
No, I just want to say one last thing that came to it while he said something about Michael. And what I'm saying, he has no shadow of a doubt. Expecting. All right, anyway, I remember one time he told me that when he went for the job at school.
Boys and
girls. And when he was doing the interview with the principal, and the principal saw his document, his diploma from Michael, the principal said, Miko. And right there and then, the principal was so excited. And there and then, he knew that he got the job because he was so impressed with Michael, but he didn't know that just pronounced Michael. So he was like, Miko. Right there and then, you know, if you're from Miko.
That's actually a factor statement. But yeah, when I went for that interview in Brooklyn, New York, and the guy looked at me and raised me and said, Nico. Yeah. That was Dr. Frank Wickens. You can look him up, a very famous educator in New York. He gets spots. But I knew I got the job and I was divinely placed. You know, you're divinely placed in certain places. Before I went to for that job, I used to live on a roadway called Eastern Parkway. And I used to hear about the school down there. The principal is really rough and rugged, and he makes sure that boys wear ties and they dress properly, and there's discipline. I said, that's the school I was studying to become a teacher at the time, and I said, that's the school I want to go. And when I went downtown to the Department of Education, They said, oh, there's an opening and wasn't because that's where I want to go. That's where I want to go. And in 2000, so I was there for a good while, and then in 2016, they said everybody in the school, all the teachers have to reapply for their jobs. Can you imagine that? All the teachers, because the school, in the infinite wisdom, and I am digressing, in the infinite wisdom of the Department of Education in New York, they said they're going to break up these big schools. My school had 4,000 kids. And so they broke up the schools into 4 different sections, and then they started inundating the school with kids who are overage and undercredited, and lots of special education kids. I'm not running special education, that's where I started. But fact of the matter is, you can't expect to, pour special education students into a school and then expect the results to be different. You're going to get special education results. You're not going to get rocket scientist results and Harvard results, right? And then they judge us on these outcomes. So, but anyway, I said I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I was placed here, right? At that time, we had like 25 teachers in the science department, right? And all of them had to reapply. I said, I'm not going anywhere. And I remember I was teaching chemistry, I was teaching electronegativity, and I videotaped some of my students, and they were singing acapella about electronegativity, and I didn't think much of it. And I saved it. And I had to go in front of 17 people for the interviews. That's the battery of people from the DOE, from the state, principal. And so they asked me, how do you motivate your students? I said, you have to use contemporary information and contemporary methods. That's what you need. I said, I can show you. And I opened my laptop. And it was an iPod. And I said, look. And they saw kids singing about chemistry. Chemistry is rigorous, and the kids don't want to do it. But I got them involved and got them to love the subject. And they were singing about it. And everybody opened their mouth like. Then the next day I saw the parent that was on the interview committee, and she said, you are the only science teacher tonight. I said, I know. I'm not going anywhere. And new principal was a guy named Dr. Michael Wilshire. He's from Upper Rocks. And he said, look, we want you. I said, no. Because when you're in a place somewhere, no teacher can pull you up. And I'm still here. So, God bless you all. I hope to read a few extracts and we can go back and forth. I said 6 o'clock, but I'm sure Mr. Cummings he's a Biconium too. So, give us a little bit of leeway, maybe half an hour. All right? That's fine. Yeah. All right, so I guess at this time I can read a few of the poems. If anybody has any special requests, if you are, sometimes you see something, Ivy. Okay, somebody is requesting Ivy. And before I even get into that, I tell you, my English teacher, I don't know if it is. Oh, I'm sorry. I failed to introduce the gentleman to my left, who is responsible for technical support, Mr. Roger Asphalt. All right, so my sister's requested conversation with Ivy. Now, let me warn you, it's a long poem. It's the longest poem, and this poem, it's not just about this English teacher that I had that was so excellent. I think she became a principal of St. Hilda's High School after she left here. She was just immaculate, and I just was in awe of her. But there's also a part of this poem that's about my grandmother, who I love immensely. And in her latter years, she went through Alzheimer's, dementia, and the things that you see when people age and become, encompass this particular disease. So anyway, this is how it goes. Let me stop talking and just read it. Can I stand up? All right, so it says, well, yeah, you Mr. Clark. Earlier you said Ivy was my grandmother. My grandmother's name is Lena. Ivy was actually my English teacher. Okay, so it says, I came downstairs after one flight. I don't remember what I came for. Do you remember the third form block? Do you remember the slate-colored marble tiles? Do you remember 13 and 14-year-old pimpled teens eager to impress? Do you remember your classic elegance and your stately beauty? Well-groomed hair, not too long, not too short. Your dress suit skirts a button below the knee. Do you remember your early 40s? Still tall, erect, brown, golden skin below those helms. Sophomoric attraction, overwhelmed with Oedipus complexes, feeling yet veneration. Do you remember Romeo and Juliet? Do you remember Hamlet, Prince of Denmark? Do you remember Sinner the poet? Do you remember my favorite, the Colossus, Julius Caesar? F2 Ivy. Do you remember Peter A. Telfrino? Do you remember lighting the spark of consciousness in impressionable youths? Do you even remember our dreamscape to Soweto Township? You, Ivy, believe in all of us. Below Crossroads, above Matilda's Corner, up into Cherry Gardens, all receive your personal devotion. Finding hope and getting lost in literary classics. Hope to speak our truths as Jamaican youth. Hope to influence. Hope to speak of war and peace. Hope to fight the apartheid regime that held the freedom fighters on Robben Island. Do you remember Radio Jamaica, my first poem read on air? I don't remember the words, long lost, just the beats. Do you remember Ivy? Opening our minds, poor, rich, poor, black, brown, open conduits to life. Even in tragedies, comedies, dramas, we dreamt. We learned of human nature, love, lust, jealousy, greed, murder, most wicked, conspirators, lost and found. Do you remember Ivy? Do you even have a vague notion of my presence or my essence? I'm here by your side, touching your head, feeling for the soul of my vivid teacher. She's not there. Mine, like a tabula rasa, just sitting, staring into an empty dream. Malnourished by the pangs of Alzheimer's, struggling to find meaning in an empty white room. If I come again, I need to sit with you. Will you be here? We could go sit under the black tree in the yard. Will you give me permission to speak? Will you divulge if I was your most precocious student? Inquisitive, thinking, control energy in your presence. Who is this stranger, Ivy? This man that came and stayed these last years. Do you remember when he appeared at your door with plastic roses? Do you know how long he has stayed to pilfer your thoughts, your shopping list, your children's name, your intention of an accomplished career? Do you know how he looks? This man, tall, short, and stumpy, a scrawny fellow with ashy gray skin and dirty fingernails hidden from the sun. Ivy, do you even know how he looks? I would like to know so we can both assault him. I see him lurking at my door when I go downstairs for a paper towel, a washcloth, and some toiletries. I have seen it in my recent past, but not for what I discern. Now that he's gnawing at your soul like a pack of rats, Ivy, tell me what we have left. The body, ravaged and emaciated by time, malady, and experience. And now, this unwelcome guest that has stricken your sensibility. I need to capture that moment again. The moment you gave me confidence to think and recognize the freedom songs. The moment you told us through your illustration that we could be somebody. I need the inspiration of my childhood one more time. Let's go under the black tree in the shade. Let's go talk of the Ardenne forest. Let's go talk of English literature. Let's reminisce on John Keats, Ode to Autumn and Ode to the Nightingale. Let me recite to you, Ivy. Maybe the memories will come flooding back like a glistening Caribbean sea at noonday. Soon, that unwelcome larcenous of a guest will be no more. The body and mind lost, but not your sweet soul. Any questions about that one? That's long and it's epic. Anybody have a question about it? Or you want to request want to request another one. What's your thought on it? I like to get feedback, so even if it's negative, I like to get feedback from my audience. Everybody seems to be satisfied with that one?
Yeah.
You'll buy the book just because of that one? All right. Okay. Any other requests? Mystic. Tenement garden here. Mystic. Mystic masseuse. One or two? Two? I know the chief person would definitely ask for that one. It's a little bit suggestive, but I give you the request and then I'll give you the tenement yard. Alright, so it says, but Mystic Masseuse 2 is actually 1 and 2. Alright, so it says, high cheekbones of stories told of a shanty woman at the well. Gentle thumbs caress circle of the thick upper lower lips. Connect her comely, proud chin that endure the whips. Generous pour of emollient over vulnerable neck, assured rats need along jugular lifeblood flex. Deep clavicles like the great Atlantic, welcome strong current, vertical movement of fingers, woke tendons, muscles, ligament, recoil, boop, 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 sensing, hearing her emotion, trusting the mystic masseuse, the advanced and breast that suckled Africa and the cotton belt, stroking whirlpools of unwelcome malignant protuberances, fingertips, soft but firm, shine turgid cherry black nipples, cage lobes that inhale the thin air of Kilimanjaro, trace intercostal striations that heave and swell, digits prance to meet the Nubian diaphragm, as strong as a young cheetah bounding antward across the Serengeti. Upon the cradle of civilization, the rasp finger they trod, caress the oils across the perfect gourd from the Horn of Africa, convey the unbroken amniotic fluids of the Zambezi, inhale the erotic aroma of issues from the fertile crescent, echoed moan of quivering thighs prevailing yet tight and torn. Relax, Nubian queen. Let the rust extend its pleasure north to south. Prolong anointed nomadic calves to stone dash feet.
Yes, sir.
I know you work. I'm gonna give Venice.
Sorry about that. That is a relationship with Batman. The muscle is not.
See you one. See you one. Oh, you bring up Batman. Batman from Ardenne. You were Masseuse. Yeah, man. You were Masseuse. Horace Lynch. Yeah. Yeah, he can. You want to hear the tenement yard? I'm calling it yard. It's the book. Yeah, tenement yard. All right, it goes like this. Brick red oxide metal windswept walls, hiding big giant dreams of spores. Frolic on top of mounds of barking promise, glancing now and then on joyful hills remiss. Standpipe gatherers that laugh and cry, naked black bodies kiss drops of waters arrive. Stories swapped of Sandokan, outlaw legend, of Obia working Gwen protection fledgling. Of Robin Hood with bloodstained Joe, distribute the loot from a shooter bow. Cult killer, discharge the floating stealth like crap. Confused canine chase down red herring to mock. Dancing rock steady shacks in the wind. Meet the doors of regimental boots kicked into grave. Sandokan, long gone in another obscure bloodstained night. Young mamas clutching babies in bellies and barking fright. Orange smoked, enigmatically rising from mounds of rot. Scoring blackheads pulling, chugging too hot to trot. Random treasures uncovered for grungy girls to mock. Roving pot-bellied swines, murmuring, feasting on an infant stock. Every day the bucket go on the well, one day the bucket bottom will drop out. Bang your belly and bad, cause the bottom fell out tonight. Sandokan, unrecognized like the poor sobs and Riverton's mouth, lay departed in dust, while a distant move on. Beloved. I said, you can always, we can look at setting, our theme, our plan, we can answer the question. Any other
I noticed illustrated some of them very nicely. You care to talk about this?
Yes.
Graphic artist?
Yes, that's a good question, and this is very important. I think all of the poems are illustrated in projects except one. I know many of you might have remembered gentleman from the Michael, his name is Peter Cousins. Peter Cousins was 1 year behind, I think 146. Am I right saying so?
Yeah, man, Land Road.
Yes, we call it Long Road, every man of us. Long Road. He was a brilliant artist, and I tracked him down through one of our late friends, Lawrence Fuller, because he lived in England, and he said, okay, I said, I want to do a project, and I want Peter Cousins to illustrate every poem that I write. And I tracked him down, and we talked, and he agreed to do it, and I sent him the canvas. Actually, he provided the canvas, did paintings, and shipped them to me in New York, and the rest is history. So Peter Cousins is a big part of this project. I want to read one of my, well, it's all of them are favorites. It's like your kids, which one is your favorite? Doctor, I call everybody doctor.
Why?
The great doctor,
Because you're the
Sport
professor.
Minute. Thank you so much for coming, my friend. I really appreciate you.
Yeah,
You're coming from all the way over here in Bush. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much, and my regards.
You don't have to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is how I'm putting away from the 146. But God bless.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I'd rather you give me your favorite our request, but I'll read Night Fishing. Night Fishing, 1971. Because, right? Mystic Man? Okay, I'll read Mystic Man after Night Fishing. I was a little boy in 1971, and I had my uncles, they were fishermen and real warriors, and these guys would hunt in the bush at night, go to the river at night, do some crazy stuff, and I was like 5, 6 years old, and wishing that I could do all of that. They go to the crab bush and come back with like crocus bag, we call it crocus bags, with crabs, and we was eating good for days, with crabs, and crayfish. So anyway, it goes like this. Oh, I wish I could go tonight to this night fishing scheme. This frenzied dexterity in the yard at dusk. Village friends, teens, prep porch from bamboo joints. The smell of kerosene fumes, crocus burlap wick to conquer the dark of night. I watch the sons of thunder since Lena is thunder. White sharp edge of machete blades ready for plunder. D, Trevor, Maxie, Junior, Pal, Arville. Best friend Big Brown, close mouths of long sacks await the fill of this murky dark. Oh, I wish I could go, even to jump from rock to rock in the kids gathering pools. Bucket bottom, causing the distant twilight, ready for the rowdy company. I can only gaze above the window sill, head bobbing like a clueless barber dove, watching the synchronized movement of Trevor. Young warrior man, shoulder muscles rippling in the dark shadows of bamboo blades. This night's expedition, under moonless night skies, will satisfy our hungry entrails. A need fulfilled of tasty crustaceans, crawfish crustacean soup, pan-fried mullets, and river eels. My hopeless spirit at those sure-footed braves moving away downhill, on away, bounding. Kingly flames getting smaller and smaller to candlelights and out of sight. Struggling to sleep, anticipating the returning stories of soyous crawfish and hog-nosed ones that didn't get away. Dreaming and hearing machetes crashing up against bloody rocks, slicing through giant river eels' mind. Big Brown announced the arrival as morn breaks. Glassy, tasty eyes, and happy ears anticipate the film. Burdock crocus bags bringing the smell of Mother Bottom River. A mashed potato, crawfish, mullets, crabs, eels, some scurrying still. Our brave, still bored with adrenaline filled, didn't say anything. Why would you come? Our matriarch, up already at dawn's crack, kindling the fire that kept us alive. Today's eating is certain of soft, boom boom yum, and steamed crawfish and coconut custard. Forgive me for using that colloquial.
But it's not what Jamaican understanding.
Foreigners will understand. So many do.
Horace, it's just not exactly related to any of the poem, but it hasn't escaped me that both you and your wife are published. Can you just share the dynamic with us?
Yeah, she wrote a children's book about 2 years ago. It's what's it called? The Noodle Boy. Yeah, it's about a kid and a shark over New York City. There's a shark that goes from Manhattan to Roosevelt Island, and the kid is fascinated with this charm and something about noodles. But yeah, children's book. Kids, yeah.
Can you say the difference between a crawfish and a sawdust crawfish?
Okay, I like this question. Crawfish. Well,
Crayfish.
a crayfish. Well, up in Sydney, we call it crawfish. I think in Louisiana they call it crawfish.
No, in my country it's crayfish.
It's crayfish. You come from the Eastern part but St. James. St. James. Crawfish. But the science, my uncle, in fact, one of my uncles, they call him science. Not because he was such a big guy, broad shoulder, a real giant and warrior from guy. I kind of emulate him so much. I'm not a warrior. But anyway, but he was a great fisherman. And these guys, it's amazing that things don't translate from one generation to the next. Because these guys back in the 1970s, right? We're making like fish guns. They made fish guns. They made goggles. All right, and they would go diving in the river in some deep holes. Somebody got people fish back. She just used it. Okay. And when they went in, they're not coming out unless they have a size crawfish, a big crayfish with some huge parts. They're not coming out until now. And they seem to know that a crayfish is on the here.
It's just that.
What is it?
All right, I used to do it. I used to make fish bowl. And the same garden stove.
Right.
So like we used to get the bird in the morning and so we go diving. Because my people our property, we call it Pastor River in Portland. So this river going from up at the top and from right now. So when we go early, we go fishing Pastor River. But they have some deep hole, like they have some rock. They have the big crayfish that we call them driver. They don't come up more than so. So it's one of two things. You use to buy the coat and throw them out and the thing and then come out, dry them out, or you put on the goggles and decide to dive deep and stay long in the water and look for them. And so sometimes when you take them out, so when you shoot them and dry them out, it's always a struggle because they usually hang on the stone and something. So when you get them out, it's like a big accomplishment.
Right.
And sometimes you look at them cars, they look green like them have
Right.
things grow on them because they want to sit down long time. So,
Age.
yeah. So it was fun.
Yeah, I think Portland and Sydney area because we are close parishes. We have similar culture and similar way of life. Right, definitely.
So just to follow up on that, you have crayfish regular size, but the size one that he speaks about, otherwise called the driver, the big, I usually the middle one them, and then class long, big, so you get one like that, and you can't. It's good beat in the spot, right?
I want to ask about the actual writing process. What, you know, what was it like? Is it, when you wrote, were you doing themes, were you doing periods at a time, you know, just how did that go?
Those are good questions. I mean, most of my poems I wrote them like during the pandemic when we were teaching virtually. We were not going to school, so I love it. You know, we had a lot of time. We could go on online, teach for a couple hours, and then you have time to write. And I've been thinking about, I always observed things even from when I was a kid. Like I wrote a poem about a guy named Passy. And Passy, I think June, Vinnie Simmons, he's from the same village. And she knows some of these characters. And so when I'm writing, I think about a character. Like Passy, he was kind of shell-shocked, like a half-man in the district. But we as kids like to gather around because we tell a lot of good dumb stories, you know, about rolling calf and all these things, right? So I just always try to see good Passy, and he kind of like us too. I mean, I think he liked me, you know, because I was inquisitive and asked him silly questions and whatnot. But I learned from my grandmother that he got shell-shocked because his woman left him and went and ran off to England with some guy. I think it was my uncle, my granduncle actually. Yeah. And Passy, tragically, now this is the tragic part. I guess he developed Alzheimer's, and he wandered away into the woods of Long Road, and nobody has found Passy in years. So he's still out there in the woods. Yeah, so you know, so nobody. There are many speculations. I don't know if my good friend would be as a speculation of that, but he's not found, and it's not a year, right?
Okay. So, any other requests?
Want to hear about your experiences at Eastern Parkway. That should be interesting.
Eastern Parkway. Now, that's another suggested poem. I like it actually. Eastern Parkway is actually a roadway in Brooklyn, and every
5th of September. Well, it can be 4th or 3rd, I don't know.
but every Monday, the first Monday in September is Labor Day, right?
People have allergic.
Oh my God. See, the chef, that's why they call him Chief Justice Chef Toro. He was jerking chicken at Eastern Parkway a couple of years ago. But anyway, it's a celebration, right, where people from West Indian heritage come gather along the parkway and they have carnival from 6 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock at night. So there's a lot of half nakedness and gyrating. You know, West Indian people get on bad, you know, when they hear the music. So anyway, let me read this one. As my noble, actually noble requested.
Nola.
Wait, Nola. Yes. It says, the Trini truck dancing down Eastern Parkway, red, black, and white fellas swaying to the rhythm of the savannah. Panapay, Sparrow, Arrow, Kitchi, Allison, Marshall, Montana. Skimpy clad young girls in pom-pom shorts covering semi-private parts. Gawking spectators, candidates, wannabe king folks, jerk men, smoke hickory, wafting of Scotch bonnet pepper, and Jamaica marines. Hustlers, pigs, bystanders, everybody West Indian today. Beyond the truck, dancing down Eastern Parkway, the drum and the bass, whining still. Who can wine better? Trinidad, Haitian girl, Lucian girl, Vinci girl, G-Tongue girl, oh, yeah. Feel the sensual lyrical rhythm of Derek's Crown Prince, Beanie, Bounty, Mr. Man, Rastaman, the Vibes Cartel. Pungent odor of sensibilia, intoxicate the atmospheric island sativa delirium.
for the moment, for this time, in this space, we dance, we sweat, we feel the heartbeats of distant drums, calling us all away from this American pragmatism. Yet we march on, celebrating Freedom Mondays, the gift of ancestral calms, peeping in different accidents, waiting for closing time, the men in black suits scurrying like man's penguins. They don't appreciate the wine on a woman's hips, the provocative tease of lustful thoughts of erotic excitement. They, the men in black, ignore us, snuggle their rebels. Justice, hateful eyeballs, not looking, unobserved humanity. Still here, our women wine and grind. Beer-chested steeds gyrate there and they choke. Yeah, come up and feel the wood fire burning. I will say woman nice, I will say woman no sweet. That's nothing for everything. It's nothing for everything. Okay. So that's Eastern Parkway. I think it's suggested there. It is suggested there.
I think you should get in touch with Professor
Mr. Orr is on the floor.
I think you should get in touch with Professor Karen Cook and Lynch and listen. I don't know what all that missing. Yes. See them kind of thing, yeah?
Remember, she's retired right now.
She is?
She is retired.
You don't want to?
English professor.
Yeah.
Finally, it's real.
And he's telling me that she likes of the orders.
Oh,
No. She was professor of literature.
I know.
Anyway, and she, this type of literature, literary literature, happening to her. And it will do something good for you. Can you see this type of poem? No, I tell you, the university experience in her life, critical appraisal are easy.
You say that
I think you should have find a way.
I have a
Break it down. Break it down.
Yeah. One of my relatives who happened to develop some connection in Kenya. This guy is my uncle, and he's 1 year younger than I am, right? And he went to Kenya and found himself a lady and got a 3-year-old son. So he got it. But anyway, so he's giving me some connections with a prominent publisher in Kenya. All right, and I'm talking to these people, and we're thinking about curriculum, but of course the language has to be translated because the Kenyan wouldn't understand some of the Papa lingo. You understand? But it's something that I'm looking to when I retire, which is I'm looking to just go, wherever it leads me. In Africa, I feel like I'm feeling quite Afrocentric.
Yeah, trust me. Thank you, family.
Thank you, Dr. Horace.
Yeah, man.
From Chief Justice for I any other requests or comments? No, this one, I have to read this one. It's a sad poem. And it goes back to this school, the last poem in this book. You're at a classmate. We were in first farm together, right up to fifth farm. And I don't know why. You know what? Let me not say that. Let me not say it. It might offend some people. But I have a weakness for that kind of woman for some reason. But anyway, I'm not gonna say. But the fact of the matter is, this young lady, she was so immaculate. She was a Christian too, and her sister was the head of the student ISDF, yeah. Beautiful her. Even if you had some loop thought in your head, you have to show her respect because the way she does diffuse you. Her name was Annette Nigeria, and I I take a moment to remember the memory of this wonderful, beautiful kid that we lost in 1980. Senseless violence. Senseless. She was killed in Waterhouse because her mother, I think her mother was a scrutineer, PNP scrutineer. And it's our political violence, many of it will make sense in Jamaica. Or we destroy some of the great resources, human resources that we have in this country. It's so senseless and meaningless. But anyway, I read the poem and you can, judge for yourself. It says, 3 caskets in Maranatha Cathedral confine grace, beauty, and love. I remember the style and poise on it, the way you approved yourself. I admire your mellifluous brown skin and your silky hair in a chiffon that I never touched. Fledgling sophomoric virile desire, yet all adjust to your ethics. 3 souls in Maranatha Cathedral lay in repose. Grace, beauty, and love. Cut down in youthful prime. Paternal heartbreak asunder in grief. What pragmatic cause, what effect, and what promise these murderous villains oblige? That raw, blood-curdling event and the termination of our youth. M16 missiles torture your caramel integument. You never anticipate the fisher since innocence is never breached. Salivating hyenas came in the middle of eve at supper to inflict massacre, most ferocious. And it, Caroline, and Jamaica potential, they is filch on the realm of inflexible expediency. How weird, oh where did we learn this perfidy that relieves us of our sensibility? Of whom, of where do we outlet our scrawny, blood-dripping talents to censor our fate? From Waterhouse to Tower Hill, the ghetto never tacit your ambience. How can such an act of mindfulness be reconciled in our national quintessence? Please, Nani, Kojo, Kwako, Taki, Bookman, Garvey, oh ancestral lineage, I entreat thy unshaken magnanimity. Change Jamaicans' hearts, mind, and soul. Go wash the blood of the innocent from all hands and lands. Intercept and exercise the stone cold hearts from this debauchery of war. Both Ardenne and her sister Caroline were killed that day. And their father came in and saw the conditions of the 2 girls. In fact, there was a 3rd girl that escaped. She ran and she was shot in her buttocks. But she escaped, she lived. The father came over and saw the condition and immediately had a heart attack and died. So, there was 3 family members right here, senselessly taken from us. And I'm telling you, just understand that the other sister who went to, I think, Andrews, I think it's St. Andrew that she went, she was the head of the ICF. These girls are Christians, beautiful Christian girls. But, and of course, they were not the first, and they are certainly not the last of our lives. Of young people, senselessly taken. Anyway, any other requests or any questions? I think we will go another 5 minutes and then we will.
Did you do anything about Michael?
Did I do anything about Michael? Yes. I don't think so. Because what I did, I divided the book into 3 sections. One was Longwood, so Longwood is like my childhood, my infancy, going back and forth, and then John, those that environment. And then Kingston, what we did in Kingston, of course, Ivy was a teacher in the school, so, and then of course, my life in America for 30-something years in New York. So I don't think I actually, but Michael, even though I probably didn't specifically write about what's happening in Michael, but Michael is at the foundation and the head of all that I have done and written. I tell you what, I remember when when you read and when you write, you sometimes steal stuff from people. I wrote a poem and I used the term, and I found it more than once. I used the term, away, right? I remember being in English class with Miss Willers. You guys know Miss Willers? Yeah. All right, and I wrote an essay on Miss Willers. Wrote an essay on Miss Willers, and I used the term, like the train, the train is moving, like you're a kid and you hear the train going. So I used that into my poem. So there and then, your experiences, what you learn from these various institutions, and I tell you, many colleges, but Michael is the college, of course. Free food is a journey. Sports, relationships. Just running away from home. I'm running away from home. I'm 17 years old, right? And Michael was a great
Yes, the Henry is
yeah, the Henry is competition. Don't talk about it.
my mother.
Only Michael would understand these jokes. We had an English teacher named, we call her Foxy, which is weird, right? And many of us were trying to look at public speaking or recitation or whatever, they go for make a fool of ourselves. I remember jump on. Oh, go bring me a dozen from and bring back. So the spirit of the night, then I went up and I think I'm from Shakespeare, right? And I'm up there reciting, friend, Romans, countrymen, then your ears. I come to every season, not to praise him. He could that man who absolutely. What's going on? And I'm thinking, oh, I'm being impressive now. But the thing is, I want to come down fast because thumbs are down there. Water, slap this, all these characters down there to reach for apart. So at the end of it all, the spinner was like, so I got my team and come down. But those were great times, we discover ourselves. Who can sing? Who can remember that back again? Mr. Clark. You remember that? Do you remember that? My mother
You remember it, Carl? You remember it?
Yes, sir. No, yeah.
Train I came to me and said, Clark, give me a pump for me, recycle. At the competition. And train is normally a very cool music.
Train at large floor.
Oh, yeah,
Late great large floor.
yeah, large. And so, I don't know what I'm doing. But the different code, that's because,
Yes, right.
no, Oma, you know that Michael audience can be very unsettling. And it's like a joy for them to make you trip up And then next 3-4 weeks, even years after, maybe I need more time. She said, my mother. I'm sorry, I started again. I could laugh.
And that was it worse.
I said, my mother. I wish I called you and say, you can hurt me, but you don't hurt my mother.
Yeah.
And then go again and say, my mother. All right, put up this. Horace said about feeding though.
I was running out of care. Youthful things, and I was running for vice president. I thought I had the leadership skill. And I'm up there.
No, you don't want speech of it.
I want 2 words of it. A couple of words of it. A couple of we got it, adjectives, collective verbs, whatever. And I said, when I become president, I
That's why
will.
you have to set the background.
So the background is,
Because you were a type of person that did not take any crap from anybody, whether second or third or whatever. They kind of unfunny.
No, that wasn't first. It was a wretched first.
Yeah, so they're for it.
It was a wretched first.
So you just want to get one stick. They want to just one stick on the toe.
well, it's true. I didn't take no nonsense from you see them and that you see them in the one to rap us and carry on. Like the Dusty Fox and you all know the character. So I tell them my name I wrote on it, yeah, and my name I give myself a name. So you know I'm not I didn't come from the hills of St. Angela or wherever, right? Not against hills of St. Angela, I love country people. But this time I want them to see them get off my back. So I say I'm from Jordan. And so they always have a vote for me.
I told her.
On my name. I
told her coming in. Sharp,
anyway, all the stories. So I'm up here and I'm giving my speech. That one made me mistake. President. And I said, when I become the vice president, I will. And I wrote the speech, I memorized it, but somehow I just got, I don't know, very fast. I will, I wasn't. I was ripped apart.
I were.
But the irony about it is that the man was an English officer at the time.
Yes, that's true. I started out with an English option. You're running 6. That's not there. Let's go there. This guy right here, not just he was the president for the auction. Right, and also he was also the for brothers.
Come on, what are you saying?
He was the assistant. Anyway, the bottom line is this. He often planned this, and on this occasion, all right, dignitaries are there, Mr. R.A. Shirley, and anyway, we said, welcome to an annual barbecue.
Animal barbecue, we are
We reminisce on these moments and there are moments that we look back, with some level of hurt, and it has not broken us. Michael, I think ragged and all of the bantering and going back and forth, it has prepared us for life. Definitely. Because these nowadays, they can't take no kind of rigor. Like, I have some people one time to strike a match. This is a senior in high school, right? To strike a match. I gave them the box of matches. We're trying to light some paraffin, some food. And the boy turned the matches on the other side and was going like this. Not the sulfur side. What is this? So if you are in the middle of a jungle in South America, really bad, you will die within that hours. You can't survive. So we have been trying fire. And that is what makes us strong. Anyway, yes.
You see, you have a lot of material.
Yes,
Let me remind you that this class is a professional English teacher. I'm not really an English teacher, I just like to, I just double you.
It's conversation with my bachelor.
Yeah, good job. Good job.
Lynch and Clark, yeah.
All right.
So like an explanation. But yeah, I'm thinking of some characters right now, like Wolverine, Snap the Slap, like Jump I mean, there's so much. So content is there. But anyway, I got Jordan. The juice man. Everybody play a role.
I'm sure that. I'm sure that.
Guys, it's quick. There's so many characters. I'm going to start calling women and then when it start calling women and then so we made them a character. Oh, it's Cherry and water. Oh my God. It's water. Food. Anyway, guys, I think this evening has been well spent, and I encourage you guys to purchase the book if you can. For me, I didn't write this book to make any money. That's for me, I don't make any money. I just want to share my thoughts and my ideas and my childhood and my experiences in life. Whoever wants to read it. So if like there's a movie, I always aspire the theme of this movie. It's called Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. And I mean, it goes for anything that you put your hand at in life. If you build a farm, people will come and purchase your food. If you build a business, people will come and patronize you, they will sit on your hands, right? And don't move, then who knows? You have to be a certain people. One of the things that Jamaican people, and when we move from Jamaica and go into a certain environment, North America or wherever, we tend to be humble. I think Jamaican people, despite our bravado, I think we tend to be humble because it's not our place. That's what we think, right? But first thing that I heard when I went to America in page 7, they say you must be assertive. You gotta be assertive because nobody will see you if you're sitting in a corner and say nothing. You gotta speak up. I mean, when I say speak up, you know what I'm saying? We have to be circumspect in this time, right?
Yeah.
But it's a different time, isn't it, right? But this time, this stupid class, this strong good class, because I believe in the word of Martin Luther King that said, the art of the universe tends toward justice. I believe that. And so, I believe that in you. Thank you. I want to thank Mr. Clark. I thank Mr. Thomas and the administration of the Ardenne High School, my beautiful alma mater. That was I think that is not going to live in the right? I want to thank my good friend, I'm going to call her Dr. Nikki Robinson, she's the head of the whole economics department here at Ardenne. Thank you to the colleague that also helps us along prepare this sumptuously. It's not easy. I like to cook. I want that I can more meal. Okay. And I always say, I'm not ready for that. You know, so catering is not an easy job. Not an easy job. Food prep is the hardest thing. You know what I'm saying? It's still beautiful food on the table, but it's not easy. So thank you. One last piece for my illustrious MC.
Horace Anthony Lynch is my godmother.
No, sir. That's a different time.
I'm going to tell you why I'm saying that. Once I asked godmother about riches and money, godmother said, I don't need it for money. When money come, money come. Don't need money, Rastata. He said, I don't need the money. Money come. And he said, musicians can tell you. My musicians can tell you. So when we are rehearse, my shoes them full of water. I know man that can play music, a man will hustle. Mr. Lynch is not hustling. He's doing this not for the money, but for the love. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Listen.
Go take picture. Let's see
Why are you frightening me? Why are you frightening me? Oh my God, I'm so scared.
Everyone, they did it from the top.
Please remember to support Mr. Lynch by buying Please remember to purchase the book so that Mr. Lynch can write another one, and then another one, and then another one, and then another one, and then more.
Guys, come and do this one.
It is